Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of TV is Our Real Mom. I'm Dave,
I'm Katie.
and you are listening to our weekly Alone podcast, in which we share our thoughts on the latest episode of History Channel's Alone. And Katie, what are your thoughts on this episode?
Well, two of them aren't alone anymore.
Yeah, yeah, good point. Yeah, it's Alone Together.
They are no longer lost, they are found.
Isn't that what one of them said when they found each other? Uh,
What'd they
it
say?
was I want to be alone together or something like that.
I don't remember that, but
Oh wait,
maybe
no, that was sorry, that was Dave. Yeah, that was Dave said that. He was like, "I want to
who's
be alone."
Dave?
Dave, isn't that
Oh, Brooke.
Brooke's husband?
Sorry, I'm still learning their names. I'm getting a little, takes me a while to, yeah,
Who's
okay.
Dave?
Well, other than you.
Well,
Yeah,
he's another brown-haired, tall, like big
yeah,
white brown-haired
they
guy.
really could diversify a little bit. Just throwing that out there alone.
Yeah,
A
between
lot
the
of tall, white, brunette dudes you got in this cast.
yeah, it's very confusing. I mean, you throw Dave into the mix with the other sets of brothers. I mean, if like what are the Josh and Evan? What were their names? Josh and the young
Bro-
brothers.
Josh and Brad?
I think that's right. Yeah, Brett.
Who's
If Brad,
Evan?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know their names either. So I mean, if Brad and Josh were like 20 years older, you'd have another
It'd be
set
the same, yeah.
of brown-haired but brothers. It's
You'd have
just
a bunch of the same person and Brooke.
yep.
And luckily, Brooke stands out personality wise, too. I guess you have the two guys we didn't see in this episode who are more ginger.
The ginger sets, yeah.
But when they're not in an episode, dang, it gets confusing.
For sure. But yeah, Dave was the one who said, "I want to be alone together." And that's what we get with the other ones, Brody and Chris,
Brody
right?
and Chris, yeah, they
Brody and
found each
Chris,
other.
the first to find each other. And would you have called that?
No, because Brody seemed very angry earlier about the mountains, but he made it over them,
Right.
surprisingly.
Yes, yes, he did.
And he ate a raw salmon, and I bet that doesn't taste as good as a cooked salmon.
I loved when yeah, the one brother was like, "I knew I'd convert you to sushi eventually," like basically saying,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
I guess it's not quite sushi, right? Because he's like eating its everything.
I don't know what parts he ate. I just know he ate it raw.
It's when you get like a salmon roll. It's like a very exclusive part of the fish that you're getting, isn't
Well,
it?
no, it's just the meat of the fish, and I'm sure that's all he ate.
Well, he was holding something that was like looked like caviar or something almost.
Yeah, he probably ate like some of the weird stuff too because he was starving, and he probably knows like what parts of the fish you can eat, that are good for you. Like I'm sure like those. I think they've said in past seasons of Alone, like egg sacs are like filled with nutrients and stuff like that. So
You know what's weird
what's
about
that?
this show is like the level of survivalists they get on this show must be like so many notches above the people they get on Naked and Afraid, because there's always someone that gets sick on that show. You know what I
Right.
mean? From
I
drinking the water or drinking bad water, or eating something bad, but maybe they don't show it. But like I thought about that show when he was eating the raw fish, and I was like, geez, I hope he doesn't get sick. But then I was like, wait, that's a different show where they always get sick. That's Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, I don't know. For one thing, he might still get sick. That's yet to be seen. It might take.
Usually 6 to 12 hours is enough for any kind of digestive issues to appear.
Yeah, it depends. Like they mentioned tapeworms and stuff like that.
Ugh.
That can take a little while, and once it hits, I mean, you're just stuck with those symptoms until you pass the thing or until.
That's so disgusting. You didn't need to say that. We could
But I
have just.
mean, yeah, it's reality. Like parasites are real. They're everywhere. Anyone can get them anytime from anything, especially eating raw meat and stuff. But yeah, just thought I'd throw that out there to give you all nightmares. But
So reminded me of the tapeworm little tidbit that I'd forgotten
Yeah,
about and wouldn't have had to thought
they
about,
put
but now I
it on the
will.
bottom of the screen, so you never know, that might come into play. But the other thing about Naked and Afraid is they drop those guys in some like tons of different locations, random. You never know, like some of those places they get dropped are probably way harsh and like not maybe even harsher than the Vancouver Island or whatever. So I don't know. It's
Well, they're more likely to drop people in warm climates because they are naked,
yeah.
whereas these people are not naked. They have lots
Dropping
of
naked
clothes
people, yeah, in Alaska
in the
would be
winter.
kind of cruel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad. That would be bad. Okay.
Well, anyways, so to make things a little easier, we lost a set of tall brown-haired brothers. So
Yeah, which we figured. When he was
yeah,
saying,
called it.
he was like, I can't feel my legs. Well, I'm gonna tough it out. And I was like, nope, you definitely shouldn't.
Nope, can't
I
do
didn't know it
that.
was that bad an injury. When he's saying things like shooting pains and I can't feel my legs, yeah, you gotta run. I mean, you can't
Not
run,
run.
but leave
You gotta stay still and
and be
call for
carried
help.
away on a helicopter to a hospital.
That's another question. Do they must have their emergency GPS thing like on them at all times? Like it must be part of the protocol. Like you
Yeah,
have to,
that's probably what they tell them. Like, you need to always have this on you.
because you never know when you're gonna slip and fall on a rock and break your spinal cord.
I hope that's not what happened.
Well, the text at the bottom of the screen said it was, or they didn't say what it was, but they said the symptoms he was complaining about. They're like, these are symptoms of spinal compression fracture, which is like when one of your vertebrae is like basically collapses around the nerves and
Don't you
get
think they wouldn't have put that there unless that's what it was?
exactly. So that's what I tend to think it is he actually cracked or squished one of his vertebrae, which pinched all the nerves, and then whatever nerves are connected in that spot in your spine, basically, like you're gonna feel it all the way down your legs. And what a terrible thing, though.
Yeah,
It's
that poor guy. His brother was pretty cool about it, so that's
yeah,
good.
gave the politically correct answer
Just hope.
response. But no, I mean, you do believe it too. I
Oh, of
mean,
course,
it's
yeah,
you believe that that's all he really cared about, was that his brother was okay.
yeah.
So I don't
It
know.
is a
There's
bummer
that.
because you do. I'm sorry about the yawning. You do get the feeling that they would have done pretty well had that not happened. Although, if he didn't fall then, he probably would have fallen some other time because, according to his brother, he's a bit of a, what do you call it?
Klutz.
Lamille?
A Lamiel.
Lamazel?
A Lamazel. What are they, Jewish?
No, that's like
Oh,
it's a Parks and Rec thing. You know Jerry from Parks and Rec? Who
Jerry.
always
Oh yeah, Jerry. Gary. You mean Gary?
Gary, Larry, Terry, whatever his name is. Like Ron called him both a schlemiel and a schlemazel. Usually you're one of the other, but he was both.
Oh, that's hilarious. Um, yes.
Anyway,
So I was wondering, do you think he fell at all because of the camera, like because of like holding it and filming? Because he had the camera on his face when he fell. So, like, do you think that becomes an extra added danger to these people that they're filming themselves?
well, I know they
Mhm.
say it becomes an added like effort.
Right.
So it could certainly become an added danger. It is another thing you got to carry, another thing you got to set up. And if you're not watching your footing while you're setting it up, just like anything else.
Right. Because it seemed like that's all he was doing when he fell, was like filming himself, and makes you wonder like if that's what caused him to do it. So
Well, I'm sure he signed something saying he couldn't blame them.
right. Yeah. I mean, that's what he signed up for. So
Dems to berries.
Dems the berries. Is that a real saying?
According to Outburst Jr. from like 1987.
Hmm. Yeah. Speaking of berries, didn't someone find some bear scat, or was that last week?
A large mound of bear poop. Yeah.
I
Was a
can't. Was that this week? I
big
can't.
bear. No,
Who
it was
found
this
that?
week.
Is that Pete? It's
It
probably
might have been the
Pete.
new guys.
Yeah, Pete.
Pete and Sam.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pete's the dad, Sam's the son. And Sam gave a Larry shout out. Woo woo. So he's all right in my book.
What did he say about Larry again?
I forgot. I just got excited that he mentioned Larry, and then they put a little blurb on the bottom about Larry, and I was like,
yeah, he said that he remembers Larry saying, "I'm not performing the way I want to." And he said he never really understood it till he was out there, like basically saying that the forest will tear you up. Like,
right. But the funny thing is, if he were to talk to anybody else who's competing, with maybe the exception of Brooke, then they would all say the same thing.
exactly.
These people have all been beaten down.
Exactly. Yeah. I think they all can understand where Larry was coming from now. It's like you watch him on TV, you're laughing at this guy. It's like, well, what did you think you were getting into? You know, but all these people feel like, yeah, they were overconfident going in. You could never really be prepared for how difficult the terrain is going to be.
Yeah.
And how much you're going to get your ass kicked.
But they shouldn't feel bad about themselves. I mean, I know because they're like, I mean, not to stereotype, but men, they like to prove that they're strong and tough. And these are survivalist men. So they like to prove that they're, you know, the best, strongest men. So like to just get your ass beat is probably a little bit demoralizing, but they're all feeling it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're all like Sam falls over. They're all falling over all the time. Some of them,
it's impossible with that terrain.
Some of them are just breaking their spines in the process, you know.
I hope it was just a fracture and not a break.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, you never know until you get to that reunion special,
which I've never seen a reunion special.
Oh, you gotta watch
that out there. I couldn't. They didn't make that available last year, so we'll see this year.
You gotta do whatever you can to make that happen, Catie.
Well, I'm not. That's not how I roll.
Okay, sounds good. What else we got in this episode? Let's see.
I mean, we only have 4 pairs left to talk about.
Yeah, I know.
One of them we just met. We barely know them.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Pete and Sam?
I like Pete. He seems real with it.
Down to earth.
He seems like a salt of the earth kind of guy. The kind of guy who will survive but not even think it was a big deal. He'd be like, yeah, whatever. I made it through. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's not gonna brag about it and stuff.
Right.
Like,
well, just like, yeah, I did that. It's fine. It's just
it's fine. We won.
But what did he say?
He was a falconer.
That's right. Did he say that on the show? You told me that last week. I don't know if
he might have mentioned it in this episode too. I can't remember.
He didn't, because I forgot that until you just said it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So that's what I mean about him. He was a freaking falconer, and he didn't even mention it. Well,
right.
On this episode.
Well, they left it out of the edit, but
there's 6 days of footage we missed from those guys.
I don't know why you would ever leave that out of the edit, that he was a falconer.
I don't know why you'd ever leave that out of any conversation you ever had with anybody. Ever.
Right. Like you open with that every time.
Oh, yeah, I'm a falconer.
I was a falconer. Name's Pete Falconer.
He said something that I liked, but I have forgotten it at this point.
Darn it. Let me see if I got any Pete quotes.
Or maybe it was Sam that said something.
It's not looking like I wrote down any Pete quotes.
Well, you must not have had any nuggets of some. I don't know. One of them said something, but I'm sorry, it has escaped me at the moment. Like a falcon on the breeze, it has flown far away.
Yeah, Pete caught a fish.
That's right.
Yep, good for him, right?
So his son's doing the hike, right? Sam's hiking.
Sam is doing the hike, and the big sort of plot point, I guess, with Sam is he runs across a pond in his way, like a big pond. And he has to
Brody crossed like 6 mountains. You can cross a pond.
Well, you can't get wet, or you're pretty much screwed. Like that's.
Well, Brody walked through a lake, and he was fine.
Yeah, but it was like, what, knee-high water or something like that at the most?
How is a pond ever deeper than a lake?
It depends, I guess. Like, the pond could be deeper than the lake. It just depends.
I think he should man up and go through the pond.
I really don't think you can if the water's deep enough. If it's higher than...
A pond is not going to be deep. It's a pond. It's like a puddle.
Ponds can be deep. Lakes can be
shallow. Lakes.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I don't
saying.
know, but you're like drawing this conclusion that this lake was shallow and this pond is deep. Like that's
You're drawing this conclusion that it's not that way.
well, a pond is typically a smaller body of water than a lake. Am I
But
wrong?
smaller, yeah, but smaller could mean a lot of different things. Like depth is a whole nother thing. Like that lake could be deep at its deepest point, but that whole part he walked could be shallow enough to walk across. Make
Well,
Makes
if
sense.
usually a lake is bigger than a pond, so couldn't you more likely find a way around a pond than around a lake?
Right. I guess, yeah, I see what you're saying now. Like if you walk down a little ways, you're more
Yeah, a
likely
pond is not a
to
mountain. You
right.
can find a way around it.
Yeah, like that's the biggest point is like a pond is smaller, so if it even if it is the deepest pond in the world, it's a lot easier to walk around.
Right, like just because you have a
Yeah.
bearing saying go straight this way doesn't mean you can't veer off here and there and get back on track. Your bearing's always going to say where you need to go.
Right. So yeah, maybe that is alone reaching a lot for a plot point because it's like,
You
well,
do reach sometimes.
I guess I'm gonna have to walk around this pond. and and
Yeah.
was it
Whereas,
Brody? Brody's the one who walked, right? Yeah, he just was like, I'm gonna walk across this lake.
well, he's taking your advice where you said you would just want to get there as fast as possible. When you walk around stuff, it's going to add length to your time, but I mean, would you rather get all your shit wet?
Yeah, I
No.
mean it depends on the depth and how far around it is, how far you have to walk to find a point that you can cross. Like you obviously
Hmm.
can't swim across it because you're gonna be screwed. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, Sam comes across this pond. I think he said he heard a stream or something. So that I think that means like if a stream is feeding this pond, there's probably an easy spot to cross if it's just a stream and it's not like a river or anything like that,
Yeah.
So I think that's what he was doing. He was heading towards that stream so we could cross over there. And yeah, it shouldn't take him that long. It's just I suppose every little extra step is demoralizing
When you
because
have 70 pounds on your back and you're barely eating and you're cold and God, it sounds terrible. I don't know why anybody does this.
I know, like it really does. The more you watch this show, it makes you wonder like why the hell anyone would sign up for it. But
This is the
um
taste of $500,000.
yeah, I mean money, the cash money will definitely make you question it. Let's see. Any other thoughts on Salmon Pete? We didn't get too much from them, but this was the
No,
first
it
time
was
we
just,
saw
they
them.
must just be like cruising,
Yeah,
like
yeah, they're
nothing of
probably
note is happening. And they're probably going to be here for a while. But at this point, one of four of these teams or one of these four teams is going to win. So
right. Are you feeling better about Chris and Brody being that they're the first two to find each other? Because we kind of wrote them off in our predictions of our winner picks and stuff. We kind of wrote them out of the four. We kind of had
yeah,
our top three.
last week,
We put Pete and Sam, who we hadn't even seen yet, in ahead of them. So what do you think?
well, last week you mentioned about how they're probably going to miss their families and their daughters. And you did get another scene this week with the Chris guy talking about his daughter and how instead of getting support when he left, he just got tears.
Oh yeah, that was
So that,
brutal, man.
yeah, that was really upsetting to me. And I know it would be hard to be left behind, but like, I feel like you'd have to at least put on a brave face and tell them you're supporting them and then curse them behind their backs. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, that might play on him mentally and that might be their downfall.
Right. I think that made, yeah, Chris and Brody, that little tidbit there made their story a lot more interesting. The fact
Yeah.
that he left his family and they didn't want him to go and they were basically like, don't go, like you shouldn't do this. You're gonna die.
Is
like
that
they
what they
didn't
thought? I thought they just didn't want to like be without
want him to
him.
be gone. But I mean, like, yeah, in my head, I'm like joking, like, you're gonna die, you can't do this, like you're not good enough. What are you thinking? You can't we don't
Oh,
believe in you. But I don't know. That made his story more interesting. I feel like that this whole
definitely.
dynamic.
Yeah, but I think it could unfortunately maybe bring them down.
Right. Yeah, and I agree with you. Like that kind of justifies our stance on them of taking fourth place. I think their whole wife kids thing
And
going
they have
on.
more time to drive each other nuts because they found each other now.
Right.
And they like said how they haven't spent that much time together because of their age difference. So maybe they're going to find out that they hate each other and there's a reason they didn't spend time together and they'd rather just go home and be with their wives and their daughters.
Right. Maybe that's why they got cast, is because the producers saw like these guys actually don't like each other.
Like a Vetus and Aris situation.
Right. But they don't even know it. They haven't even figured it out yet that they don't like each other.
I'm sure they like each other, but no one's going to, you know, like each other with that much togetherness. At least Pete and Sam are prepared for that. Or Pete's like, yeah, we're going to yell at each other and get annoyed with each other, but we'll get through it.
I'm going to be arguing about stinky socks.
Yeah, which sounds terrible, but I suppose it's a reality out there.
Your socks smell.
If that's the least of the most of your problems when you're out there, I think things are pretty hunky-dory.
Right. If that's all you're arguing about.
Yeah.
Not so bad. Yeah, let's check in with my winner pick, Brooke and Dave.
Brooke is quite comfortable.
Yeah, she's quite comfortable out there. She is communing with the animals, much like Ace Ventura.
She's giving toasts.
She's calling to them, creatures of the woodlands. Come to me, my jungle friends. And yeah,
she was talking to an imaginary army.
You think so? Like an animal army?
No. What I pictured in my head was like no. What I pictured in my head was like a medieval feast, but she was conquering the land, but in a peaceful way.
Right. She's like, I am the king of this area now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Totally.
So I think on one hand, used to see there aren't that many, or there's no women in this season except for one. But you've got 7 men who are just struggling, and then the woman who's like, yeah, it's cool. I think that's kind of, I don't know how long it'll last, but it's kind of an interesting.
No, it's very interesting. And she's just very qualified for this, like as we said last week. Mm-hmm. We found out now that she's worked in Yellowstone Park before, and she was a firefighter in Montana.
And after high school, she just went to the mountains because that's where she felt she needed to go. So.
Right. And these are things that are added on to everything else we already knew about her and Dave and how they've lived their lives. So just more things coming out about how like qualified she is to survive in the wilderness, mm-hmm. kind of like how adventurous her life has sort of been. So she gets a nice opportunity to soak up some sun in this episode, which is got to be nice. It seems
you don't see the sun very often on this show.
No, I think it probably rained there the first 5 days of the. At least that's what it looked like to us. And like the little blurb said, vitamin D can help with mood and stuff like that. And it's literally a chemical reaction that happens in the body, where this vitamin D that you're lacking can really make things. Make you.
I've been prescribed vitamin D before by my doctor because I don't know, it was winter and I had a deficiency, I guess.
Right. It's very common. A lot of times in our diet, we just there's nothing and no amount you can eat to make up for getting it from the sun, basically. Right. So almost instinctually, she's like, "Oh, the sun's out. Stop doing everything else and start like soaking it up." And that's what she does. Unfortunately, she's soon rudely awakened by her friend, the wolf.
DM Varga.
That's a different show. But check out our Fargo podcast if you're interested. But yeah, she sees her friend the wolf, and what do you think?
Is it the same one?
Is it the same one?
It's gotta be.
I don't know.
But usually there's a pack, right?
They say wolves travel in packs, but maybe they have like a scouting situation going on where they.
That's probably even more terrifying.
No, that's very terrifying, and I just made it up. I don't know if it's true or not.
What sucks is that she built this badass shelter, and she's all comfortable there, but there's a wolf lurking around there. She's seen him twice now. Like, I might reconsider where I am. I don't know.
Well, I did like sort of her. What did she say exactly? I guess she basically said that she needs to anticipate the attack, so she's ready.
Yeah, she got comfortable. It was like the perfect example of getting too comfortable. Her out sunbathing, like literally almost naked, vulnerable, and that sort of thing. and then she sees the wolf. It was pretty perfect reminder to be like, nope, let's stay vigilant.
Yeah, exactly. She has the right response, which is I need to anticipate the worst so I'm ready if it happens. Like if they're going to attack, I need to assume they're going to attack because
Jeez,
then I'm ready for it.
what if this show took a dark turn and Dave finds her and he's like, hey, and she's just been like ripped to shreds by a wolf.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
They wouldn't even have shown this season if
yeah,
that
I mean
happened.
the season can't air, right? I
No,
mean,
because that would be
obviously we don't wish that on anyone. That would
no.
be horrible, but
That's
it's
where
just
my mind goes because
darkest timeline. Yeah. No,
Sorry, if that was a little macabre.
No, you can't help but wonder things like that, though. Like we try to make these as human beings, we try to make these little TV shows for entertainment, and at what cost? Like how you wonder how so many shows and so many episodes can get made and nothing truly terrible ever happens. I mean,
yeah, because people get eaten by bears and wolves and worse. You know,
and things have happened, but it's like so rare that, I mean, it kind of makes you realize like.
But then at the same time, you think, is it luck or is it all the preparations they've got in place and all the producers and everyone they have around them? It's probably both.
It's a combination of both. But yeah, that's a good point. You shouldn't discount the amount of preparation that production goes into, like when they're scouting locations and all these different things to make sure that they give them their best shot of maybe running into some of these animals, but not getting like eaten alive by wolves.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm sure some of that comes into play.
I would think
so. Yeah, I mean, another point for Brooke for like her amazing courage in the face of these.
She's not
wolves.
nearly as afraid as I would be, but again, she spent a lot of years living in these big predator country, as she said.
Right. Yeah, and she went to check out the tracks, and they looked pretty big. So
very big. Yeah.
I'd be scared.
But you know, you and I and our sister, and our sister's boyfriend stayed in a yurt, and we saw coyote tracks. They were kind of big, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm scared. It was like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, coyotes are definitely not the scariest predators in the world.
True, but coyotes and wolves are both like not going to approach a human.
Right. They're
typically.
I think even more so with coyotes too. They're more scared of people. But they are a group of animals, much like wolves, that they will attack in packs. And if there's a pack of them, you're totally screwed. There's nothing you can do.
Oh, no, I know. I've seen The Gray.
Was that wolves in that one? Yeah, it's wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't care for that movie, but I have seen it.
I saw it, but I don't remember it.
It's not rememberable.
I don't know. What else is there? I guess we have Dave. Dave has what do you think that was a bear, or did like a tree fall down?
I love it when they talk to the bears. They always go, hey bear.
Hey bear.
Hey bear.
Hey bear.
Like, you don't have to always say the same words. He can't understand you. You can mix it up. You know?
Right.
You can say anything.
They're just trying to stick to the training, you know, like make sure they do it by the book, you know.
You could say like Hooba stank, and it would be the same thing.
Hooba stank. Hooba stank. Yeah, that I like that a lot better. We're gonna have to start using that.
Hey bear. They all say that.
I might go camping tomorrow. If I do, I'll be sure to use Hooba stank instead of
Are you going to bear country?
Is Minnesota bear country? It is, right?
Parts of it, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll quite be going far east enough or into the real foresty parts to be in bear country, but I know just in general they're around there, so I'll be sure to say Hooba stank instead.
Yeah, I mean it really doesn't matter.
So yeah, there was a super loud noise. Kind of sounded like there was a bear rustling around, and
it sounded like a thud.
Yeah, it was a bit thuddish.
I don't know what it was. I mean, that's the thing. Most of the stuff is like unseen,
which is the scary stuff, the scariest.
Yeah, because you could think it's a squatch or like some unseen creature that no one's ever seen before, and you're gonna be the first person to see it.
Right.
And you'll probably die and get eaten by it.
Yeah. Sasquatch would definitely give you a minor heart attack for sure.
Yeah.
Dave, yeah, definitely looked like he had just had one of
Yeah, he
those.
looks like he was gonna drop something in his drawers
Yeah.
when he first saw the bear.
But then he kind of reined it in and he said, I'm not going to worry about it until there's something to worry about, which
It's
is,
kind of the opposite approach of his wife.
yeah, it's commendable because I think he knows, like, I think there's part of these people that's like, I would rather get eaten by a bear than quit,
hmm
like, come at me, bear. If that's what it's going to be,
Not Logan.
I'm not quitting. So
Mhm.
I think that's kind of what it's like for Dave. But
Yeah, they're tough. They're a tough couple, those Whipples.
the Whipples,
Team Whipple.
I'm Team Whipple all the way.
I didn't get to see my team today.
Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, I'm a little surprised. I don't think you leave those guys. I don't think you leave those guys out of any episode.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they had to do their farewell to Jesse and Shannon, and they also had to introduce. They had to leave them out because they had to do Jesse and Shannon because they were leaving, and they had to do the Pete and Sam because they couldn't delay their introduction another episode. So then you have the Whipples, who had kind of an eventful situation. I mean, I guess probably nothing happened to them in that 3-day span or whatever.
Yeah, I think it could be a good sign for
Team Baird.
Yeah, Team Baird, that they leave them out of this episode. It means, hey, we got time to show these guys down the road. So
It's gonna be Team Baird. I feel good about all of them.
Yeah, I still feel good about the Whipples.
Yeah.
I'm feeling skeptical of them as the winner the more it goes on, but I'm gonna stick to my guns.
They're very much the stars of these early episodes, it seems.
Yeah, which makes you question a little bit, like, can they go the distance?
Well, Fowler was introduced pretty early, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, he was featured pretty much.
He was always kind of the star.
Right, yeah. It just depends for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not much else there.
I mean, it was kind of an underwhelming episode. Not a lot happened.
Yeah, I would say mediocre episode.
It was cool at the end. I saw it coming that they were going to find each other, but it was still cool to finally see someone find each other.
Right. Yeah, that was the best part for sure. They were calling each other bad mother effers,
Yeah. It's nice to see, like, you just hear the endorphins in their voices.
Right.
And that's only after like 8 days. And then you think about what those people went through. They didn't see anyone for 80 days or whatever.
Right.
So that's nothing.
Yeah, you can only imagine, man.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought of when they found each other was now they can film each other. They don't have to film themselves anymore. They can help each other film. So that's another thing. That's kind of cool.
2 directors instead of 1.
Another thing, when they were calling out for each other, I don't think it seemed like they weren't using each other's names at all. They kept going like, hey, and like blowing their horns.
Maybe they were worried they came upon someone they weren't supposed to.
Maybe, but yeah, they didn't call out each other's names at all. I thought that was kind of weird. It's like, why aren't you yelling your brother's name? You're just yelling like,
that's a good point. I didn't even think of that. They're used to yelling, hey, bear.
Yeah, it's kind of
weird.
Hey, bear. Hey, bear. Hey, bear. Like the bear could talk. Oh my god. All right. Anyways. Anything else from the episode you want to talk about?
No, I'm excited to see my boys Team Baird back next week.
Team Hey Bear?
Team Hey Baird. Team Whipple and Team Hey Baird.
Team Hey Baird in the house. All right, yeah, it'll be good to see them bring some levity back to it. I think Pete and Sam seems like he's got a good sense of humor. I mean, he had like one funny comment when he was like, "Here I am, laying under a tarp with a camera in my face. Doesn't make any sense." I don't know. He's kind of funny. Kind of funny little
Brookes
dude.
Kind of funny, but in a weird way. Not like ha-ha funny. Whereas these Baird fellows, you just kind of feel like whenever you're around them, you're probably going to be laughing. So
they're goofy.
They're goofballs.
Like, they'll make you laugh.
And hopefully,
Brookes trying to have a good sense of humor. She's not as like goofy.
She's like nerdy, funny kind of like you can tell, and I respect how well she's doing and all that. But I'm not like dying laughing. I'm just like,
I like Brooke all right.
For sure.
Anyways.
Anyways,
anything else?
no, I think that's it.
Okay, that'll do it for this episode of the podcast. Thanks for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at TV is our real mom, and be sure to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Bye.